Use of args and kwargs. So I have difficulty with the concept of args and kwargs. So far I have learned that args equals list of arguments, as positional arguments, kwargs equals dictionary, whose keys become separate keyword arguments and the values become values of these arguments. I don't understand what programming task this would be helpful for. Maybe. I think to enter lists and dictionaries as arguments of a function and at the same time as a wildcard, so I can pass any argument? Is there a simple example to explain how args and kwargs are used? Also the tutorial I found used just the and a variable name. Are args and kwargs just placeholders, or do you use exactly args and kwargs in the code?
The syntax is the and. The names args and kwargs are only by convention, but there's no hard requirement to use them. You would use args when you're not sure how many arguments might be passed to your function, i.e. it allows you pass an arbitrary number of arguments to your function. For example, similarly, kwargs allows you to handle named arguments that you have not defined in advance. You can use these along with named arguments too. The explicit arguments get values first and then everything else is passed to args and kwargs. The named arguments come first in the list. For example, you can also use both in the same function definition, but args must occur before kwargs. You can also use the and syntax when calling a function. For example, as you can see in this case, it takes the list, or tuple, of items and unpacks it. By this it matches them to the arguments in the function. Of course, you could have a both in the function definition and in the function call.
One place where the use of args and kwargs is quite useful is for subclassing. This way you can extend the behavior of the foo class, without having to know too much about foo. This can be quite convenient if you are programming to an API which might change. Mivu just passes all arguments to the foo class.
Here's an example that uses 3 different types of parameters.
Here's one of my favorite places to use the syntax, as in Dave Webb's final example. I'm not sure if it's terribly fast when compared to just using the names themselves, but it's a lot easier to type.
If you want to see more, please consider subscribing.